you're leaving anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 on the table. And I am not exaggerating. If you're buying a home in Tampa Bay in 2026 and you're not asking the seller for 3 specific things, the Tampa Bay market has shifted and sellers are paying for things buyers don't even know they can ask for. Let me show you 3 moves that are working right now. I'm Tamily Abdo, realtor here in the Tampa Bay area with eXp Realty, and I help buyers structure smarter offers, and that's exactly what we're gonna talk about in this video. Here's why this matters right now. Tampa Bay's inventory is at a 3.8 months of supply, and that's a balanced market, leaning towards buyers in most price ranges. Active listings are up about 18% year over year. Sellers have less leverage than they've had in years, and the buyers who know how to use that leverage are walking away with serious savings. The 3 things sellers are paying for in 2026 are cash to close, mortgage rate buydowns, and inspection credits. And I'm gonna give you the actual dollar ranges I'm seeing. And there are estimates based on the general Tampa Bay market data, not guarantees for any specific transaction. I'm also gonna give you the limits you need to know and the exact moment in the deal where you ask for each one. By the end of this video, you'll know more about Tampa Bay negotiating than 95% of buyers walking into showings right now. The number 1 item that you can ask for is cash to close. This is the simplest of the 3 and the most underused. Here's the math. On a $450,000 home in Tampa Bay, which is right around the city's median price right now, your buyer closing costs run about 3 to 4% of the purchase price. That's an estimate. Your actual closing costs depend on loan type, lender, and specific deal terms. So $13,500 to $18,000 you're bringing to the closing table on top of your down payment. The move is simple. Ask the seller to pay those closing costs. How much can they actually pay? It all depends on your loan type. With an FHA loan, the seller can pay up to 6% of your purchase price towards your closing costs and prepaids. On a $450,000 home, that's up to $27,000. For conventional loans with less than 10% down, the limit is 3%. So that equals up to $13,500. With 10 to 25% down, that percentage goes up to 6% of the purchase price. So up to $27,000 on that $450,000 price range. With VA loans, you're looking at a 4%, and USDA loans at a 6%. And remember, I'm a real estate professional, not a mortgage company, so please confirm specific loan limits with a licensed lender for your situation. In the last 90 days in Tampa Bay, on transactions where buyers asked, I'm seeing sellers agree to $8,000 to $15,000 in closing cost contributions on a typical $400,000 to $500,000 deal. That's real cash you don't write a check for at the closing table. Quick thing before we keep going. My team showed me that numbers this week that surprised me. 97% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel. And some of you have actually told us YouTube auto unsubscribes people randomly without asking. So I'm gonna ask you for one favor. Take a look at the bottom under this video right now and see if it says subscribe. If it does, then you're good, and seriously, thank you. But if it says subscribe, please tap it. I make these videos every Thursday specifically for Tampa Bay buyers like you, and subscribers see them first. All right, let's get back to the material. So back to closing costs. The move is to write the offer with seller credits built in. Don't ask for it after acceptance. Don't expect it as a verbal handshake. It needs to be in the contract with a specific dollar amount or percentage applied to buyer's closing costs and prepaids. Now, when does the seller say yes? So we're looking at 3 triggers. The home has been on the market more than 30 days, the seller has dropped the price already, or the home has any condition issues. If any of those are true, your closing cost concession ask has a real chance. And here's the part most buyers miss. Getting the seller to pay your closing cost is functionally the same as getting a price reduction, but the tax math and the financing math both favor the concession over the price drop. Same money, but better structure. Second item, and this is the one that can save you the most monthly cash flow, getting the seller to pay for a mortgage rate buy down. Here's the context. As of this week, 30-year fixed mortgage rates in Florida are running at about 6.5% to 6.9%, depending on the lender. And rates change daily, so verify the current rate with your lender. The most popular buy-down structure in 2026 is called a 2-1 buy-down. And here's how it works. Your rate is 2% lower in year 1 and 1% lower in year 2. And then it goes back to your full rate from year 3 forward. So if your rate is at a 6.5% with a 2-1 buy down, your year 1 rate becomes 4.5% and your 2-year rate at 5.5%. And then year 3 and onward, it will go back to a 6.5%. So what does this cost? On a $400,000 loan, a 2-1 buy down costs roughly between $8,000 to $10,000, and the seller pays it as a concession. What does this save you? On that same $400,000 loan, you save about $450 a month in a year 1 and about $230 a month in year 2. That's over $8,000 in monthly payment relief in the first 24 months for a cost the seller absorbed at closing. This is the move I want every Tampa Bay buyer in 2026 to understand. A seller paid rate buy down is essentially the seller giving you a price reduction, but structured in a way that actually reduces your monthly mortgage payment instead of just lowering the sales price. Now, when is a rate buy down the right ask? When you expect to refinance within 2 to 5 years, or when you're stretching to afford the home and the lower payment in year 1 buys you breathing room while your income grows. It's also the right move if you're locked into the home but rate sensitive on monthly cash flow. When is it not the right move? When you're planning to sell within 2 years, you don't get to keep the benefit. And when you have plenty of monthly cushion and would rather have a flat price reduction. And when interest rates already are at a multi-year low, the math gets less favorable. The things buyers underestimate is this. The seller paying $10,000 towards a rate buy down often saves you $20,000 plus in actual interest over the time you'll likely be in the home. Same seller dollar, significantly better outcome for you. Number 3. Inspection credits and repair concessions. This is the most Tampa specific of the 3 and the one with the biggest hidden upside. First, the inspection itself. A home inspection in Tampa Bay runs about $400 to $700 within the average around $520 for a single family home that's under about 2,500 square feet. And these are estimates, so verify with a licensed professional for your specific property. And then the table stakes. Never ever skip a home inspection. Here's what most buyers don't know. The average Tampa Bay inspection turns up defects costing anywhere between $1,200 to $8,000 to repair. And that's per inspection. Every house has something. And in Tampa Bay specifically, those defects fall into a predictable pattern. We're looking at the roof age, the HVAC condition, hurricane shutter requirements, plumbing and older homes, and water intrusion issues from humidity and rainfall. These are the 5 Florida-specific items that come up over and over. Here's the move. Once you have the inspection report, you can ask for repairs or you can ask for a credit. In Tampa Bay in 2026, credits is usually the better play. Sellers are more willing to write a check than to schedule a contractor, and you control the quality of the work. If this is saving you real time on your Tampa Bay home search, subscribe button is right below. It helps me make more of these, so let's continue. What are repair credits actually worth in Tampa Bay right now? On a typical $400,000 to $500,000 home with normal inspection results, I'm seeing credits in the $3,000 to $10,000 range when buyers ask correctly. On homes with bigger issues, which are older roof, dated AC, foundation flags, credits can run anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000. These ranges are estimates based on what I'm seeing in our market, and every transaction is different. So how do you ask correctly? First, attach the inspector's report to the request. Don't paraphrase findings, let the report speak. Second, get 1 or 2 contractor quotes for the biggest items. A documented quote is harder to argue with than a buyer's opinion. And third, present a clean, specific number, not a list of demands. And here's what most buyers miss. These 3 things aren't always either or. Depending on your loan type, you can sometimes stack 2 or even 3 of them, but only within the seller concessions cap your loan program allows. Let me show you what that actually looks like. Say you're buying a $450,000 home with an FHA loan. Your seller can contribute up to 6% of the purchase price. That's about $27,000 towards your closing costs, prepaids, and rate buydown combined. Within that $27,000 cap, you could structure $10,000 in closing costs to help, plus a $10,000 rate buydown. That's $20,000 in seller concessions, well under the FHA cap. Then on top of that, you can negotiate an inspection credit, which is typically structured separately, either as a price reduction or a repair credit tied to specific findings. Done right, that adds another $5,000 in real value to you. Same listing price, same closing date, 3 coordinated asks that fit within your loan rules. And here's a caveat to all of this. I'm not gonna tell you every seller is gonna agree to this. They probably won't. I won't tell you either that these numbers are guaranteed for every transaction. It's different, and every market shifts, and every loan type has its own rules. I'm not gonna tell you the buyer agent compensation piece, because that rule changed in 2024 and are still evolving in 2026. That's a conversation you need to have one-on-one with your agent based on your specific deal. But what I'm telling you is that the buyers who walk into Tampa Bay showings in 2026 not asking these questions are the ones that are paying more than they need to. The buyers who ask and structure the offer correctly are saving real money. And if you want to talk through any one of these for your specific situation, that's exactly what I do every single day. Numbers coming up at the end. So give me a shout if you want to see how we can successfully structure a deal so that you can win big in 2026. If you're buying in Tampa Bay this year and you want to talk through specific situation, that's what we can do. So call or text me directly at 813-669-0857. I'm Tamily Abdo with eXp Realty, and this is the fastest way we get to work together, structuring the right offer for your deal with the right concessions for your loan type. And if you got something out of this video, hit subscribe before you go. New Tampa Bay buyer breakdown every Thursday, and I'll see you on the next one.